The basic story of Hanukkah is one that many people know. The branch of the Greek Empire centered in Syria, led by Antiochus, oppressed the Jews in the land of Israel and prohibited forms of Jewish practice in an attempt to Hellenize or Greekify the nation. The Jews rebelled against these policies, led first by Mattathias, then by his son Judah, and miraculously defeated their enemies, purified the defiled temple, and relit the menorah with a small amount of spiritually pure oil, lasting miraculously for 8 days until more pure oil could be produced. The apocryphal second book of Maccabees, which is not considered to be reliable from a religious standpoint, as evidenced by its exclusion from the biblical canon, is nonetheless the oldest source we have about these events and sheds an entirely new light on the story. According to the book of Maccabees, the main flow of the story is as follows. The Jews were living semi-autonomously within their land under a laissez-faire Greek emperor. A group of wealthy secular Jews who were very much enamored of Greek culture had been thwarted by the religious leadership in their attempts to Hellenize the country. This group engages in skirmishes with the religious population, then approaches Antiochus with claims of revolt against his rule, resulting in oppressive measures and ultimately pitched battles. The Jews prevail miraculously, purify the temple, and relight the menorah, holding a festival for 8 days in commemoration of the missed opportunity to celebrate Sukkot and Shmini Atzeret while the temple had been occupied. The Maccabees, renamed the Hasmoneans, have a moderately successful 100-year dynasty and introduced many elements of Greek culture to their empire, including going by Greek rather than Hebrew names. According to this source, the focus of the story is more about a domestic conflict between two Jewish factions than about an extrinsic conflict with the Greeks. It also leaves us wondering why the Hasmoneans would enact practices that they just fought a war to eliminate. While the two may seem unrelated, in fact, they're closely intertwined. The different Jewish factions in the land were at odds about their cultural identity. Some people tried to force their minority views onto the majority by bringing in the Greeks in a deceitful manner to eliminate their opponents. The religious faction is ultimately successful, but seeing the rift that was caused by this culture conf, they work to bring their former opponents back into the fold, and the resulting holiday is a celebration of this newfound unity, bringing the two sides together and trying to bring light into the darkness that had prevailed during and before the war. Most people fall into one of two categories when it comes to defining the real purpose of Hanukkah. There are those who say that it's about the gifts, and those who say that it has nothing to do with gifts. The latter are undeniably correct, as there is no gift giving either in the story or in traditional Hanukkah observances. Sorry, kids. That said, the Jewish people prevailed after the war by making concessions, gifts, if you will, to their former opponents, recognizing that unity is more important than primacy. We're living in a time of deep rifts in our country. My blessing for us all is to find ways to overcome our differences and work towards renewed unity like our ancestors did so long ago. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach.